We're also seeing an increase in the number of repeat tests performed on individuals. This indicates that people continue to request tests more than once over time and are taking advantage of the testing resources that are readily available across our Commonwealth. The 7-day average for the number of total tests conducted has been above 30,000 tests for most of the past 2 weeks and is currently averaging around 35,000 a day. That's up from a 7-day average for the total number of tests conducted in mid-June, which was around 11,000, in mid-July of around 16,000, and in mid-August of around 20,000. That increase shows that we're continuing to make progress in increasing access to testing in Massachusetts. Additionally, the Broad Institute announced a partnership with over 100 colleges and universities to provide testing for students and staff, and so far, the Broad has conducted almost 400,000 tests through this initiative and plans to continue to do robust testing as schools welcome folks back to campuses to help stop the spread of COVID as well. And we're certainly grateful for the partnership that we've established with the Broad over the course of the past several months and look forward to continuing to work with them as we go forward. The state's positive test rate's around 1%, and it's been in that range for the past few weeks. Our hospitals are reporting, Lieutenant Governor and I were on the phone with them this morning, no issues with managing the care of COVID-19 patients and other patients in need of medical services and procedures. We've seen good progress and will continue to monitor data and pay close attention to higher risk communities. While the statewide statistics are in a great place, there still are several communities that are struggling with the transmission of COVID, and that's why we introduced a new system for color coding and providing ramped up resources and stricter enforcement in the communities that have higher levels of COVID. Continue to update that map every week so that residents can remain vigilant and informed about what's going on in their city or town. And while we're certainly pleased with the progress that we've made with respect to the spread of COVID, everyone needs to keep in mind that we only get to this point through the actions of every resident, employer, business, local official, state official, basically everyone here in the Commonwealth. It's taken an incredible amount of discipline, hard work, and sacrifice to get to this point with respect to COVID, and as we head into the fall, we should certainly not let up. No matter the numbers, everyone needs to be vigilant about wearing a mask, practicing good hygiene, and avoiding, wherever possible, large group gatherings, especially unorganized, unsupervised group gatherings. This highly contagious disease will be with us until there are better treatments or a vaccine, and we'll have to keep working to beat it down every day. Throughout the pandemic, as I said before, state government continued to carry out the work the people of Massachusetts expected to do and to serve the people of the Commonwealth. For the MBTA, that's meant many things, but one of them is trying to take advantage of this time and the low ridership and the limited traffic to make upgrades to improve service and save taxpayer dollars along the way and get work done quickly. We just had a chance to look at some of the improvements that have been made on the Green Line's E-branch here at the Museum of Fine Arts Station. And as the general manager pointed out, these upgrades are the result of a month-long service shutdown that enabled crews to complete infrastructure improvements more quickly and efficiently than typical. In fact, this shutdown enabled the T to accomplish the equivalent of 1 full year of weekend and night work in 28 days. The C branch of the Green Line was also shut down for the month of August, and that shutdown also enabled the completion of an amount of work that would have normally taken a full year. These sorts of measures are significant steps forward in working to improve service for riders, and in some cases it's happening much more quickly than previously planned. The shutdowns also helped the T save 30% on construction costs compared to a schedule that would have relied on all the issues around setting up and breaking down and doing night and weekend work. These upgrades replaced thousands of feet of track and upgraded several intersections and removed thousands of feet of what we call slow zones. That means these improvements will give Green Line riders faster and more reliable service. And by shutting down certain parts of the system for longer periods, the T obviously has the ability to stage differently and to make progress much more quickly. They're all part of the T's strategic approach to accelerate infrastructure projects across the system in 2020. It means implementing, in some cases, long-term diversions with alternative service options, like the ones on this Green Line route this summer. And because of the low ridership associated with the pandemic, the Green Line's been able to get this done with substitute service with very limited impact on riders. But as people gradually return to the system, and we were talking about the fact that we all drove through college move-in day on our way here, I think for the Lieutenant Governor and me, it's probably the first time we've been in traffic in a really long time. That will certainly provide additional riders for the system, and these shutdowns will make sure that the ride on the system is faster and more reliable. And best of all, it will have been done at a point in time when the students weren't here, when the schools weren't in session, which dramatically enhances both the quality of the work that gets done on an uninterrupted basis, but also dramatically limits the impact and the disruption that that type of work would have had doing it on nights and weekends all the way through the fall and into the winter. The transportation landscape obviously looks a lot different than it did in March, but we're still committed to improving the core infrastructure of the T to make the system more reliable and safer. We're currently in the midst, as most people know, of a 5-year, $8 billion capital investment plan, which is delivering a record level of spending on upgrades and modernization of the core system, signals, switches, tracks, all the stuff we love that never gets the attention it deserves, but has a profound impact on the system's capacity to serve the folks who ride it every day. And I want to thank the Green Line Transformation team for all of your work on this and on these other projects as well. I think anytime somebody can talk about delivering 118% of plan, 30% reduced costs in 1 month instead of 12, it's pretty good. Thank you. And I also want, yeah, good idea. And I also just want to say in closing that the T and its team have continued to work enormously hard through this whole period beginning in March to make sure that they were there to serve the riders who rely on the system. They've dramatically enhanced their cleaning protocols, created a new Rider Safe program campaign, and continue day after day to make sure people have the system they need to take them where they need to go.